Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I want to share with you my story on how I've learned a foreign language. So basically I want to challenge myself, I'm not gonna lie. So I hope you're gonna find this video useful, and let's get started. I am aware that I'm gonna make probably a lot of mistakes in this video, but I cannot be bothered. So yeah, let's get started. My first contact with English was when I was about 6 years old. My mom, she used to live in the UK back then, and then she came back to Poland and she bought a lot of like toys for me and my sister because we were kids, and they were obviously in English. So I remember like watching cartoons in English like Beauty and the Beast, Teletubbies, and even though I had no idea what they were saying in the movie, I was a kid and that was a cartoon, so it was like easy for me to understand it anyway, because I knew what was happening in the movie. And then probably some of you know already that my favorite childhood Disney movie is Beauty and the Beast. This is why because I used to watch like 3 times a week, I'm not gonna lie. And then I started to realize what like particular words meant. And when I was a kid I also used to play a lot of video games that was more on the educational side. So whenever, I remember this game, whenever you were pressing on an object, a voice started to say, let's say, oh, it's a top, this top is pink, like if you are pressing on a pink top. So then I started to learn like the basic words. What was really useful, I'm not gonna lie, but still I had no idea how to, let's say, create a sentence. I had no idea about the tenses and so on. So then when I was in 5th grade, I started my English classes. I remember that I was struggling with people's accents because I was like, okay, so they speak English, but the thing was that that was confusing me, because let's say the words like letter, leather, or word and word, for me they sounded really similar. So I was like, if people are having a conversation, how do they know what these words mean? How do they know it's like a word, not a word? So yeah, that was me back in the day. And then after 6th grade, because like my main foreign language was German, I decided that in my secondary school I actually want to start learning English. And then my mom, she probably thought that I wouldn't make it. So then she sent me to Canada for like my summer holiday. So I spent there over 2 months, and I was visiting my godmother then. So I'm not gonna lie, this water was deep that she put me in, because my cousins, they were like 3 and 4 back in like 2005. But that was really good environment to learn English, because I'm not gonna lie, I had to start it like from the bottom to be in the place where I am now. So yeah, I basically started like from the beginning. So I was listening to like kids songs like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and so on. And because my cousins, obviously they were like kiddos, they had no idea how to speak Polish, because actually I was about to teach them, but this never happened. But then I like overcome that barrier of speaking another language, and then this is like the moment when I started to like creating sentences, because when I finished the primary school, the only tense that my teacher taught me was like present simple, and I believe present continuous. That's all. So basically I was always like using a present tense, but doesn't matter. And then I remember when I came back from Canada and I started a new school, my first lesson was English, and my teacher asked us as a homework to write, to like think how we spent our holiday. And then on the next lesson she was like, oh, is anyone like volunteering to like say to like tell us how they spend their holiday? So I was like, yes. So yeah, what happened, I basically like stood up and started like telling people, oh, you know, I was in Canada for 2 months, I've seen that, blah 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 blah. And my teacher, she was looking at me like, okay, because I was talking pretty much like I am talking to you guys at the moment. I wasn't thinking what I was just about to say, like the words are just coming out from my mouth, and to be honest, I am not thinking much what I'm about to say. So my visit in Canada, it was a really good example that it doesn't matter if you know any words, if you cannot speak it or whatsoever, but you're gonna hear the language all the time, and then your brain gonna be like, so this is what it means, and so on. So then I started to like basically speak English. It wasn't like a really high level, I'm not gonna lie, because still I had like a lack of grammar, I had a lack of words, like more extended level, but I overcome the barriers because people there, they never laughed at me, like because let's say I couldn't understand something or I was struggling to like create a sentence. They were actually really helping me out. So yeah, I really appreciate that, because what I see whenever like a Polish person is like making videos in English, there would be always like a comment, oh my days, your English is so bad, your accent is so bad, you put a comma in the wrong place. Like, it doesn't matter, to be honest, because what I've learned from my experience, people who are like native in English, they really appreciate people that try to speak a foreign language for them. So then in my junior high, let's say, I started like grammar, more vocabulary and so on. So in this point, I cannot give you like many tricks, because I am that kind of person that has really good memory. So what I was doing back then, I was writing down words in English, then I was translating them to Polish and the opposite, and I was doing that for, let's say, 6 hours, because for me, I like I like learning in that way, that I like to, let's say, spend 6 hours a day instead of spending, let's say, an hour and a half a day for like 4 days straight. Because for me, I do not concentrate, let's say, when I learn for an hour and a half. For me, the extended times work better. And then I remember after my first year in junior high, I went to England for like 2 weeks, and then I met a lot of international friends. They were like French, English, Spanish. So then I could basically like improve my speaking. And I met a friend, Nadia, and then she came to Poland for like Christmas, and I was her host, let's say. She was spending like time with me for like a week or so, and then it really helped me improve my English. And then after my junior high, I went back to England once again, this time with my sister, and I met Nadia again and her parents, and I remember me telling them that how grateful, how thankful I was that I met her, because she was like such a good like teacher. She was really like understanding and so on, because once again no one laughed at me. They were like really appreciating that I'm trying to learn like a foreign language. And then I went to high school, and then I remember that all of people who chose English as the first language, as a first foreign language, they had to take the test. And then I believe my score was the highest, or one of the highest. So then also in my high school when I was preparing for my matura exams, or like this is like equivalent to A-levels. I started to like going for extra lessons with like native speaker, and then I had like a extra lessons with English teacher that was Polish, because I wanted to focus more on grammar. Oh no, my battery is about to die. I'm back. I charged my battery a bit, so hopefully I will be able to finish this video. It's raining cats and dogs outside. That's really English, so I'm sorry if you can hear anything, but I don't want to shut the window completely because otherwise it will be like so hot in here. But back to my story. So basically my native speaker, he mainly focused on like me and my friend, because I was attending like this class with a friend of mine. What we were doing, we were like watching the news on BBC and then CNN, and then the native speaker was asking us like to tell him as many details as we understood from the article. And then what I found, it was easier for me to understand the American accent than the British one. Now I feel, for me, they're on the same level, but I'm gonna tell more about it in a second. But then my Polish English teacher, she was focusing so much on like reading articles in English, reading books. Then I remember my matura exam, it didn't go quite well as I thought it would. The basic one, it was like so easy. I got 100%. Like basically people who were like so bad in English, they also got 100%. So that was like meh. It wasn't an achievement for me. On an extended level, that is so bad because I remember I got like around 70%, I would say. I was like hoping for like 80, 85. I would be then really happy about it. But oh well, you cannot turn back the time, so you just have to move on. I remember at uni I had English that was like once a week, like 2 hours. The level, it was bad. It was basically, that was poor. But I also had like this technical vocabulary, because I used to study material science and engineering, so you know, someone somehow had to teach me these words. And a year ago I moved to London. I was here also 2 years ago, but only for summer. I started to work in London. My first job was in Subway. So basically this is the kind of job that you don't have to like speak very well English, but you have to like have good listening skills, because obviously people are gonna tell you what they want to order, and if you're not gonna understand, they will like start pointing out and they will just get annoyed. But listening to people really improved my English, because what happened when I was like in Poland, when I was learning English and watching the news, I was really struggling what people were like saying on the news, or what, let's say, what the lyrics and the songs were about. For me that was like one big word. Sometimes I could like split them into smaller ones, but now it's better for me. It was better for me. So I've been living in London for over a year now, and I really improved my listening skills. So now whenever I am like talking to a person, someone is speaking to me, and I give them the answer immediately. I don't have to like think about what I'm gonna say, what I have to answer, like, oh, what is that person talking to me about? What's that person saying? No, it's not happening, because now I work in like an international company, and I deal a lot with tourists that obviously they have different accents. Some of them, they cannot speak English, or like they speak really little English, but that's fine, like I can work it out. I am sometimes struggling with like northern accents, like with the whole Scotland. I have to like ask them sometimes like to repeat what they mean, because the way they speak is like too much for me. I am dealing better with like Liverpool and Manchester accents, but they might be quite tricky. There's also the Cockney accent, but yeah, basically you cannot give up. And even though you like making mistakes, I've already started to editing that video and I found like already 5 mistakes that I made, but I'm still gonna put that up on the internet and I cannot be bothered, because even if I'm making a mistake, I'm learning from that mistake, so then I know what I have to like focus more on, you see? It's happening. The biggest tip that I can give you if you're learning a foreign language, never learn to like translating your language into foreign language, because then in most of cases won't make any sense. I mean, like the really simple sentences will do, but with the more extended one, or if you want to like tell people what you did, like I don't know, last week that you went to a gig whatsoever, then it's not gonna make sense at all. What I also learned here in England, people, whenever they're like telling you what they did in the past, they start with like, oh, you know, last week I went somewhere and then that happened, and then that person said, and they just say, oh, you know, and she said, oh, I'm not gonna like it, and you just know that happened in the past, so you can basically like understand what that person is talking about. Yeah, no one ever laughed at me. Sometimes when they do, it's because I pronunciate words funny, like I never say can't. No, can't, because it sounds more like a cunt, like a bad word. So I just basically say cannot, or like a piece of shit. I try to avoid this word because I know it's gonna sound funny, because sometimes I just do not pay attention how I pronounce it. But yeah, you know what, for me the interesting thing is, this is probably the first video that I'm gonna see on Polish YouTube that a person is trying to explain people how to learn English in English, because I've got a feeling that this video will have like so many comments like that I mentioned before. But oh well, I can speak English. I don't find it difficult. I make mistakes, I am aware of it, and I am trying to improve my English every day. When it comes to advice, the first one is to never give up. And even if people are like laughing at you because I don't know, they just do, that's the thing, they just do. But this is mostly Polish people, you know. Just tell them, no, I'm trying to learn. What do you want to achieve in your life? Yeah, I just want to learn like a foreign language, because this looks good not only in your CV, but then you basically feel more comfortable in foreign countries, because English is such a popular language that a lot of people can speak. So then, you know, that person gonna stand on the side and be like googling something, like I don't know how to get somewhere. You're just gonna ask a person, like some random guy on the street. The other one is like, try taking small steps. If you're courageous enough, yeah, go on deep water, like go abroad. But then it might be difficult, I'm not gonna lie. If you got like an opportunity to go abroad to like visit your family, that they're gonna meet you with like their friends that are not, let's say, in the Polish, but English is the first language. Yeah, basically what I would say, use these people as much as you can, because they will help you. Why not? Like, when all of my friends are like, oh, you can speak like English, you speak so good, you speak very well, probably I should say. A lot of my friends, when I told them that I moved here like a year ago, they couldn't believe me, because they were like, your English is so good, like for a year living here it's so good. And then I told them, like, you know, I started with this and that, and they were like, whoa. So yeah, it takes time to like not only be fluent, be communicative. I know some people, they got that skill to learn English, let's say in 6 weeks. some people gonna find like the tapes, the audio useful to like learn from it. I couldn't. For me it's better to basically like talk to other people. I remember my first conversations in English when I was like trying, and I was like basically translating from English, from Polish to English, sorry. And I remember like in Poland we say that we need like a glue to our conversation, and actually I translated that into English, and the guy was like, "Ooh, what is that person talking about?" But oh well, we've all learned. So yeah, I think that would be about it. Hopefully you find this video useful. I really wonder how the comments be like, because I can already see like, oh my dang, she's living in London for a year and her English is so bad. Where does she work? Polish shop or whatsoever? Is she a cashier in a Polish shop, or does she work only with like Polish people? So that will be it for today. Hopefully you like this video. If you do, make sure you thumbs up this video, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. And I see you next time. Bye!